My name is Jonathan. Today I have the honor and privilege of being joined by three wonderful, diverse, entertaining cats. First of all, we have Mr. Shane Smith. Shane, what's going on?
Not a whole lot, John. Happy to be back with you and these other wonderful men right here. Looking forward to the show.
Happy to have you, brother. And this is Mr. Lucas Bivens.
Hello.
What's up, Luke? Last but not least, the ever charismatic Jason Galt himself.
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
So today we're going to talk about the new trailer that just recently dropped for Moon Knight. This is a character that I don't really know that much about. I remember when I was a kid in the 90s seeing the comics, but I never really read those comics. You know, back in the day, you could buy like the comic book covers. I got this for Christmas one year. I got like a whole box full of like these covers, like the plastic covers with the cardboard piece that goes behind the comic. It was like, you know, I don't know, 300 or 400 of them. And it came with like 4 or 5 comics. And I do think that one of those comics was Moon Knight. I never really read it. I remember being fascinated with the look of the character. I thought it was a very unique character. Some people even say that it's Marvel's version of Batman, or maybe even a Batman ripoff. Yeah, just a little bit. But what do you guys think? Did you guys watch the trailer?
Yeah, I watched it like 3 or 4 times. I'm not insanely familiar with the character. We had Marvel Unlimited, a bunch of buddies of us, and we read a lot of Moon Knight from that. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun, though.
Yeah, 100%. And I almost feel like Marvel's probably going to go almost like to the cliff of how edgy they can go before they kind of have to cut things off with this show. But I will say there was that little clip. The first time we got a little brief trailer, we saw him beating that dude up in the hallway or wherever it was at in the bathroom. And at first I thought it was a guy, but then in this new trailer, you see that it's like a monster. So maybe they can get away with some of that violence by making him brutally beat up, you know, monsters and things of that nature, aliens or whatever you want. For those of you that don't know, I did do a little research on Moon Knight, and he gets his power from the moon god.
Kanju,
that's it. Okay.
There you go.
So Kanju is the moon god that gives him the powers, I guess, from the moon god. I don't know that. And that's another thing. I don't know that he has powers per se. I think that he's more of like a street level, kind of like a Daredevil type hero that has these sticks or whatever. And then he's got the crescent shaped mooncraft that he uses to get to and from. So
the moon copter?
No, I don't think it's a copter. It's more like the, you know, remember the bat from the Dark Knight Rises?
Yeah.
Something along those lines. Like it's a flying mobile. It's not like a helicopter, but
In some of the comics, he calls it the moon copter.
So who made that for him?
He's rich.
Is he rich? Does he start out as
he's super rich.
One version of him is.
One universe.
Well, so what Luke was alluding to there was he has multiple personality disorder. I guess nowadays they call it dissociative personality disorder, something like that. All these different personalities kind of have, obviously they're different from each other, right? You have one personality that he has is kind of like the billionaire playboy, kind of like a Bruce Wayne type. Then you have the Mark Spector, or maybe I can't remember the specific names for all the character incarnations that he has, but one's like a cab driver that, you know, keeps his ear to the ground and talks to the citizens.
Mr. Moon. He wears a white suit and a mask, and he talks to the cops. He's like the cop informant.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, that's one of them, too.
There's a great run in Marvel. I can't remember the guy who wrote it, but like each of his personalities like associate with a Marvel hero. So like Wolverine and Captain America are fighting inside of his head and stuff. It's really, really fun, but I can't remember who wrote it.
There was some incarnations in the comics that I believe that there was like, he ended up finding out that he never had powers to begin with, and he never really was the Moon Knight. He was just crazy. So
that sounds like an Ultimates.
Yeah, maybe so. But there's a lot of different directions they could go with this. I am very excited. And one thing that gets me really excited about it, not only do we have Ethan Hawke playing the villain, which I think is going to be a servant or a hero from the sun god. But we're going to have Oscar Isaac, which in my opinion is one of the greatest actors. Well, maybe not the greatest actors of all time.
Say,
But
relax, John. Relax.
he's a great actor. What do you guys think?
He is a modern Marvel for sure.
Yeah.
No pun intended. I mean, yeah, I guess pun intended as well. He's part of the modern Marvel universe. Yeah, I love him as
He's
an actor.
dreamy.
Yeah.
He does have a dreamy outlook about him.
You know, personally, from watching the trailer and not having any previous knowledge of who this guy was, kind of seems like a general statement for most people, not knowing who this dude was prior to them releasing this information. I think the trailer looks pretty interesting, and kind of what you were saying as far as pushing it as close to the cliff as they can with edgy material that's not like Deadpool. I mean, I know they didn't do Deadpool, but I'm just saying as far as I'm assuming that this is inside of the current MCU, or
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yes.
okay, so they're not gonna they're obviously not trying to waste any time straying away from the path. Everything seems to be in the MCU these days.
Oh yeah.
I
You
can't
know
wait
that-
to love the first 6 episodes of this show and then kind of taper off towards the end, like I have with all the other MCU shows.
Really?
Yeah. Except for WandaVision. I loved WandaVision all the way through until the last episode.
WandaVision started off really slow, but it definitely paid off in a big way, in my opinion.
To me, I liked WandaVision more at the beginning than I did the end. Like when it was all the weird sitcom stuff, I love that. But I liked Hawkeye.
It's crazy you say that, Jason, because not the Hawkeye thing. That's also crazy, but it's crazy that you say that about WandaVision, because most people say their least favorite part about WandaVision was like the first handful of episodes, because they're like, I really just didn't even know what was going on. I say most people, a handful of people that I've talked to and listened to have said like they were just confused. Like, what is the point in this? And then by the end of the show, they're like, man, that was insane. Like it was quite the ride, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I mean,
definitely
that
think
makes
that's
sense.
the general consensus for sure.
So,
But
do you think that we'll see any Blade stuff?
quite possibly, yes. There's even speculation that they're building towards a Midnight Suns team up type movie or show maybe in the future, which would have Blade, Moon Knight, some of your more mystical, maybe even Doctor Strange. Who's in the Midnight Suns, Jason? Tell us a little bit about that.
Ghost Rider,
Ghost Rider.
Blade, Morbius,
Okay.
Frank Castle sometimes.
Wolverine's in there in and out too, right?
Sometimes Dakin's in there, Wolverine's son. There's a whole handful of them, but the Midnight Suns would be awesome.
They're
I
making
would
a
love-
Midnight Suns game that looks pretty dope. I don't know if you guys seen that, but
Gonna have to check that out.
it looks awesome.
Touch on the Hawkeye. I watched one episode, and I haven't gotten back to it.
Really? So you didn't like it
Yeah.
that much, obviously.
No, I might have watched 2. I can't remember. It's been a while. It was a little campy there. I mean, and I didn't even. I still plan on watching it eventually, but it didn't do it for me right there at the beginning. And I really like Hawkeye and what's his name? Jeffrey Renner? No,
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy. There we go.
Yep.
I was trying to say Jason, and I was like, I know that's not it. Then, I think maybe the end of that first episode when he fought him and when he fought those guys and just turned around to the camera, she was like, "You're a Hawkeye," and I was like,
Yes, I am Hawkeye.
But what I was going to say before that was with the Moon Knight, you're talking about all this, them having to be careful with the violence or not careful, but how to approach that. My first thought was when I realized that he has this dissociative identity disorder it's kind of surprising in this day and age for them to tackle a character that has mental illness. And I'm curious to see how they're going to broach that subject or handle that, because nowadays, it would just take somebody complaining about, well, I have that, so how dare you make a character that has that?
Well, it almost seems
or something like that,
To your point, but also a different spin on it is, honestly, to quote the famous Kanye West, he said that his superpower is his mental disability. And I mean, now listen, obviously there's plenty of reasons to criticize Kanye West, but in all reality, if you take that, if you take that though, for the sake of, I mean, I'm not saying that it's one of those things that people should embrace it to the point of like they don't really have a mental illness, but they more or less plea that they do just because they want some whatever comes with that, the positive that can come with that, as weird as it sounds. But to you, it goes to your point, like people who do that, somebody who really does suffer from like conditions, they wouldn't want that. But I digress. This is more or less like, hey, I have a disability, but I have superpowers. Like this guy, I'm not me, this guy, Moon Knight. It's like kind of a spin of like, wow, like they wrote in his mental disability, which to your point, someone is going to complain, but it'll be one of those things where it's like, oh no, this is supposed to be empowering to people. Like, hey man, it doesn't have to be debilitating because you have this separation from maybe the more common people in society.
Right. And I hope that it's that it's like that,
hopefully it's received that way.
Right. Anytime you have something like autism or something like that in shows or movies, it's either taken as empowering, or you can go Rain Man. You can go full R word, like like Robert Downey Jr. said. You just like let's don't go too far with it.
Yeah, I personally, like, maybe I'm in the minority on this particular episode, but generally I've liked everything that Marvel's done so far with Disney Plus. Falcon and the Winter Soldier, What If, WandaVision, all those shows really have been really good to me. Even Loki, like, I'm really excited to see what they do. And I think that this could quite possibly end up being, if not my number one, pretty up there. I think that it's always fascinating and exciting to see a new character like this introduced on the big screen for the first time. I think that they're slowly building their way back towards another epic team up again eventually. We haven't got an Avenger movie now for 3 years or so. When they finally do the big team up again, whenever it may be, they haven't even announced a new Avengers film yet. But whenever we get it, it's going to be absolutely nuts. I mean, we've already gotten recently, of course, we've already had Wanda and Vision. We've had both of those characters. Even though they were introduced in the second Avengers film, Kate Bishop, Yelena, Shang-Chi. So we have all these new characters now that they're introducing us to slowly but surely. It's going to feel once again like a big deal when they all finally meet each other for the first time. I'm stoked, man. I think it's always exciting when they introduce, new characters like this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this, like, I knew nothing about Moon Knight. I don't know if I've ever even heard of him. It looks awesome. His suit looks awesome.
Yeah.
I'm all about some ancient Egyptians and fighting some mummies, and let's go. I'm for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When's Brendan Fraser going to be in the MCU?
Oh,
That dude has put on some weight. Have you guys seen him lately?
Oh, he's thick. He's thick boy.
Big boy.
That's a thick boy.
That's a thick boy.
Yeah, he's gained a little weight, but he's still a great actor, though. I think
the internet loves him too. So
yeah, he's a great guy from what I hear. Like behind the scenes, people talking about things that he does on set of movies and shows and stuff. He's apparently a really nice guy. Yeah, I think my excitement level right now, like I said, guys, obviously I'm already saying that Oscar Isaac is the best actor and all this stuff. Like, I'm very excited about the show. I think that this is the most excited I've been for any of the Marvel Disney Plus shows before they came out. I wasn't really super excited about Hawkeye before it came out, but I ended up liking it. Of course, WandaVision, there was a lot of intrigue there, and that was Marvel's first Disney Plus show. Loki, I was a little hyped about that, but I'm not the biggest Loki fan. I know that may sound crazy to you guys. And also the show, it was good still, but when we got a lot of these Disney Plus shows, it seemed like they were good for shows, but they weren't quite on that same level with the Marvel films. So I'm hoping that with this Moon Knight show that they really break the doors open and start putting out really good content.
Yeah, I hope so too. To be fair, like bits and pieces of all of these shows have I seen. I mean, I haven't watched the entirety of, I don't think I've watched a good bit of Loki, but like as far as all of them goes, I haven't. But this is the first one that I'm just like, oh man, because I don't know anything about it. So, but the trailer itself was pretty like, I don't have any desire to be hypercritical about it yet. I'll wait till it's over and I'll actually watch it. Like as far as like having this predisposition about it, whereas like sometimes I do. Like, Captain America, I was like, I don't really care to see like another person play Captain America. You know what I'm saying? Because in my head, I'm thinking Captain, but I understand that some people are like lifers when it comes to comic book cinema. Also, to me, at first, even after the Spider-Man movie, there was a little bit of the whole like I almost felt like maybe it's because I have not caught up on every single show, but it's like I'm a little bit burned out on like the multiverse stuff. And I feel like maybe if I was like 100% caught up, I would be way more enthralled and excited about it, because that's what my friends at work and my friends outside of work say. They're like, dude, if you just watch everything, then you'll be even more excited about it. It won't make you feel like you're kind of lost. Which, I mean, I understand the concept. And I feel like if I finish Loki also, everybody says like the end of Loki is like one of these things that it's like, oh man, it just gets you riled up for like what's to come.
Yeah. I can see both sides of that spectrum. And I know some really hardcore Marvel fans that hate the concept of the multiverse being brought into the movies.
Sure.
I'm excited. I mean, like, I'm still at the point where I'm not, like you're talking about, I'm not fatigued at the idea or the concept of the multiverse. Sometimes, especially for people that aren't as initiated, it is a little hard to wrap your brain around all these concepts and all this craziness.
Right.
But I will say that Marvel's doing the best job that they can with what they have, I think, if that makes any sense. But
yeah, I mean, I was on board. I mean, with the movies, it was really when the shows started coming out, and I think I started to fall behind. Yeah, that's what it was, because it's like I would see a movie in theaters, and as soon as I could watch it another place, I'm watching it another place. So my mind was fresh on everything. And then when they started like a new series every 3 months, almost, not exactly, but you get what I'm saying.
Close.
It's like it gets kind of hard, especially living life and stuff like that. It's like it's hard for me to sit down and just focus on watching that if I'm not 100% like this is more important to me than anything else on this day when this episode comes out, versus like the movies where it was like, yeah, we're worried about seeing this for like 2 years and we all go and see it, and it's I'm caught up. With the shows, it's taken me a little more time, but I'm hoping that soon I'll get like that fire will catch again. And maybe before this show comes out, that's kind of what's inspiring me, thinking now like I'm gonna just start trying to knock out like a show a week.
Yeah, and it also becomes, to your point as well, it also becomes really intimidating to someone that hasn't watched that many Marvel movies. Like maybe someone who has seen less than you. They already have like, dang, I have to watch 24 films and like 6 different, seasons of different TV shows. It's becoming more and more. I mean, I think that Marvel but Marvel does a pretty good job of making the movies relatively independent, but you don't get nearly as much of a payoff unless you know everything about everything, and that's what made the first Avengers film so special. Heck, that's what made Avengers Endgame and Infinity War so special. It's just everything coming together, and all the nuances and quirks of this character and that character, how they would react, or at least you have those expectations in your brain. So I'm excited. What about you, Jason? Are you excited about Moon Knight?
Oh yeah, 100%, man. I'll watch it probably the day it drops. So, but I'm in the bag for this stuff. So like, all Marvel has to do is like, we're doing a show, and I'll be like, all right.
Jason,
what am I supposed to do? Not watch it?
Exactly.
I think you and I are like the hardcore of hardcore Marvel fans out there. Like you said, anything that they put out, it could be a show about Groot's pet, and we would still watch the show.
Oh yeah, I'm signed up for that right now.
Even Agatha Harkness, they're making a show about that, which I'm not a huge fan of them making a show about that character, but I'll still watch it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Take 100%. My money, Marvel.
Exactly.
What about you, Lucas? How excited are you for Moon Knight?
Yeah, I'm as excited as I've been for anything Marvel. Like, well, gonna watch that for sure. It looks interesting. It looks unique. I hadn't seen anything like that, I guess, in a while from Marvel. It just, I don't know. I think not knowing anything about it, it really draws me in, because I'm like, and I don't plan on reading up on him or anything really. I want to kind of just, if I really like the character and like the show, then I might be inclined to dig into him more. But it's like, I would like to take in this new character the way y'all present him, and excited to do that. Mooncopter. Here we go.
Hashtag, guys. Mooncopter.
Hashtag Mooncopter.
I envisioned him being like the Goblin's glider thing is what the picture that I saw. I was like, but I didn't see him riding in it or anything. So unless it's in the trailer and I don't remember it, which is a great possibility.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Yes.
hidden stuff in that trailer.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot of imagery and a lot of like, even with the sound, you know, like when you hear the clock ticking and then things start off really quiet and then it kind of crescendos and gets louder and louder and louder. I think we're all excited. It's safe to say that we're excited for now about Moon Knight. Guys, thank you for joining me. Viewers at home, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comments how excited you are about Moon Knight. Does anybody have anything they want to plug, by the way?
I do. I have about 14 things, but I'm just going to stick with one today. Check out my podcast, Organic Poison Podcast, and it's awesome.
Heck yeah, it is great. I've been on there twice.
I also think we need to shout out Freak Outdoors since there's 2 Freak Outdoors hats on here.
Right?
Sure.
Have you ever had 2 at once? Anyway, that's all for me.
Check us out on Instagram and TikTok. We're at Real Comic Book Cinema.
Hey, man.
Yeah, I'm into the TikTok world now.
Look out there.
You can also check us out on Facebook. So if you're a grandpa and a dad like me, check us out on Facebook. Until next time, everyone, have a wonderful day.
Bye.